IGN's Up at Noon is flavored by Wingstop. Try chili lime. It's a wing thing.
Previously on Up at Noon.
Holy crap, you're Trisha Hirschberger. You're the host of SourceFed. That's like a huge show.
Aw, thank you, Brian. Thank you for having me here. I'm really excited.
Yeah, we're so happy. We are so happy to have you here. But I mean, Brian, I host a huge show too. Like, it's cool. I'm glad, but like, you know.
Anyway, but you have like a huge social following, like over 100,000 people on Twitter. What's that like?
I consider myself very blessed.
Brian, I have more than 100,000 Twitter followers too. I don't understand what you're doing.
Anyway, you cover all kinds of really cool geek topics. Like, you must love like video games and comic books and pizza and chicken wings.
I love all of those things, particularly the chicken wings.
Okay, I'm glad you're on team. You are describing me and taking me for granted. Don't you see that?
Who is this guy?
Some no-name loser.
Oh my God.
You want to get some wings?
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Up at Noon. Yes, thank you to SourceFed's Trisha Hirschberger for coming by IGN and reminding me that I'm nothing. Like big fat nothing on the internet. Don't on me! I need to be reminded every time. Are you guys ready for a great show brought to you with limited commercial interruptions by DaveFennoy.com? It is actually brought to you by Wingstop. I'm sorry, Dave, you need to write us checks. Up at Noon's Nick Scarpino is here to get out of the video game industry and review something that really matters. And then, The Walking Dead's Lee Everett, Wolf Among Us's Bluebeard, the voice of Hulu, Dave Fennoy returns to debut a clip from episode 3 of Wolf. But first, news you care about. Last week, former Microsoft exec Phil Spencer was announced as the new head of Xbox. In his first interview, Spencer described the Xbox One as being, quote, in this to win when it came to the console war. When reached for comment, Nintendo president and CEO Satoru Iwata said the Wii U was, quote, in this. Rumor has it that Game of Thrones' Peter Dinklage is set to co-star in Pixels, an Adam Sandler, Kevin James flick where video game experts are recruited by the government to stop an alien invasion. So now, instead of just being offensive to gamers and fans of comedy, Pixels will be offensive to dwarves. Images of the iPhone 6 have leaked from a plant in Japan. The 3 images show a thinner phone, an aluminum back, and a protruding camera. However, we here at Up at Noon did some more digging and came up with 3 more photos of the phone. Number 1, here's a dude who has no business taking a shirtless selfie with the iPhone 6, taking a shirtless selfie with the iPhone 6. It's also me. Thank you for that. Here's a photo of how the iPhone 6 will look when you're hungover. And finally, here's the iPhone 6 with a shattered screen you're going to have to shell out $300 to repair because you were too much of a man to buy into AppleCare. Just do it. It's a good deal. And finally, IGN has been around for nearly 20 years. And while we've been happy to be the definitive voice in video game reviews, Up at Noon producer Nick Scarpino felt it was time to finally review something truly important. Nick!
It's hard to believe it's been 20 years since Wingstop opened its doors in Garland, Texas, but the chicken wing chain refuses to rest on its laurels. The new chili lime wings are truly changing the game, but how does their new chili lime flavor stack up to the... Wait, did that guy just eat an entire wing in one bite?
How did it win? That's how it wins. That's good way to win.
I feel like I'm watching Galactus eat a planet. Well, there you have it. Chicken lime wings 10 clucks out of 10. For all your chicken wing reviews, keep it locked right here to IGN. I'm gonna watch this guy try and eat that fridge behind him.
Number 2. Man, Nick needs to learn to let things go. Speaking of letting things go, Greg Way, it broke my heart to let go of Lee Everett in The Walking Dead. Spoilers. But luckily, I'll never have to let go of his voice actor. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the voice of Hulu and Bluebeard in The Wolf Among Us, Dave Fennoy. As I live and breathe, Dave Fennoy. It's actually weird now to say your name and not say .com at the end. Because I've said that so many more times.
So many more times.
Thank you for coming back.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
No, it's my pleasure. You are the one who started the whole trend of GIFs, you know. You cemented it up a new thing. Then Ashley Johnson came and brought me a cup. We had Batman came and gave me the Los Angeles ashtray.
So
He didn't think it's
basically,
hard.
I'm responsible for you getting a lot of stuff.
Right, exactly.
Good.
Now that you understand the relationship, I want to know what has DaveFennoy.com traffic been like on the website since I started promoting
it actually has improved. We've sold some cups. We've sold some T-shirts.
All right, good.
We've even sold some Dave Fennoy pajamas, which I find a little disturbing. But
Do they have the feet on them, little footsies?
no, these don't have the footsies.
Oh, okay, sorry. These are manly pajamas.
I should think about getting some.
I'd
of
buy a
those.
Dave Fennoy onesie.
Yeah.
I'd be rocking it.
Our grown-up onesie.
Yeah. Think about it. If you do one of the ones with the hoods, you could put the dreads on the hoods. Whenever you want to steal me away from this to just work on DaveFennoy.com merchandise.
Oh, man. You have given me ideas that I'm not sure the world is ready for.
Dave, you, of course, a storied career of voice acting. You're all over the place. The Hulu.
Hulu?
The Lee Everett.
Lee Everett?
And now Bluebeard.
Bluebeard.
Up in this. Tell me a little bit about this character.
Bluebeard is not a particularly nice guy.
Okay, then, just like you.
He's it's typecasting. He is an aristocrat. He has a lot of money, and he would like to control Fabletown, and pretty much he does have a lot of control of Fabletown through his money, but not a savory character. And right now in the game, he seems to be somewhat allied with the wolf in trying to find out who has committed these heinous crimes that he might have committed himself. But we'll have to see, because he's not a good guy.
Okay. Well, Wolf Among Us Episode 3 is out this week.
Dun, 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 dun.
And if you're watching this, months from now, it's been out a while. You can go buy it at any time. You brought a clip. Let's see it.
What's going on? Is the mirror fixed yet?
Bluebeard, this isn't the time.
Bluebeard, get the hell out of here. This is none of your business.
Just ignore him.
Ignore me?
We don't know if he's the murderer.
Oh, please. Of course he is.
Look, he took a piece of the mirror, so we can't use it.
This farce was your ridiculous idea for a plan. I mean, who put you in charge in the first place?
Fixing the mirror was the most logical
You're
thing.
a secretary. He's the sheriff. And none of you were chosen to run this office.
You get range. Lee Everett was always very, very keel until you talked about Clementine, and then it's like, calm down, dude. But now you get to do different things.
Well, that's been my career. I've gotten an opportunity to play a lot of varied characters with lots of different voices, a lot of creatures.
Typecasting.
That's one. A lot of creatures, a lot of villains, some good guys. It beats working for a living.
Sure. You get to go play every day.
Get to go play every day.
So now, last time you were here, we talked about it on the show, the fact that you could retire, I said. You could run the Comic-Con circuit, sign for the rest of your life as part of The Walking Dead.
Well, it's interesting. You were right and wrong. I could not retire.
Okay.
But after that interview, the Comic-Con type work started coming in. And as a matter of fact, I did Comic-Con for Telltale Games and Dragon Con and Walker Stalker. And Gavin and I did a little ScoreCon in Franklin, Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
It was a little small one. But we had a good time.
Yeah?
And the folks down there are real nice, so it's all right.
They won't be after they see this impression.
No, they'll think I talk like that all the time.
Oh, okay.
They'll go, oh, hey, he's talking like us.
He's one of us.
He's one of us. And I have some more coming up, and it's been a gas. But not yet ready to
Well,
be
see,
able
this
to
is what
retire.
I didn't think about, is that once you were in The Walking Dead, you were now in the Telltale Mafia. You now have it into every other one of their games.
Oh, I hope so.
Who are you in Borderlands? Who are you in Game of Thrones?
Yeah. Well, I am a character in Borderlands whose name I forget just at the moment. But the Game of Thrones has...
They haven't offered that yet?
That hasn't
Guys,
been
this
cast
is-
yet. It
this
hasn't
is
been
Dave
cast
Fennoy
yet.
of
They're
Dave
writing
Fennoy.com.
it now. They're writing it now.
Right.
So
do you come by every so often, you're like, hey, if you ever need a character who's, can do a little bit of anything.
Send flowers to...
Yeah. It'll pay off in the end, I think.
Little coffee cups. Maybe some T-shirts. Or what I should send is one of those grown-up onesies to Dave Fennoy onesies.
The Dave Fennoy onesie. Yeah. I mean, basically, it's this whole outfit in onesie form, and then the dreads on top.
And the dreads on top.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even have to sign it; they'd know who it came from.
Exactly. That's the kind of marketing you can't buy. That's a movement you're making, sir. You are making a movement.
You know, movement can mean a couple of different things.
It can.
And some ideas are more movement than others.
Okay. Well, I think we're
depending on what you mean by movement.
I mean, we're brainstorming. There's no bad ideas when we're brainstorming, is what I've been told. So.
Well, just as long as you don't take every idea. But that's not to say these aren't good ideas.
These are ideas. Let's not even label them yet.
They're just ideas.
Exactly. That's what we're doing right now. We're just hanging out. Two bros on the camera. So, talk to me a little bit about what's happened since I last saw you. You were talking about you've done more cons and stuff. Were you prepared for how popular Walking Dead was and what that did to you in this industry?
Well, you know, when I did the game, no, I wasn't. I was really happy to get the character, and I think I told you before, first day recording, I knew, wow, this is an exceptionally good script.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it was going to have the kind of success that it had. As a matter of fact, the game wasn't complete when we did our interview.
Right.
And it just built. I was nominated for a number of awards, won a couple, a Machinima Award.
Never heard of them.
A DICE Award. Was nominated, among other things, for a BAFTA, the British Academy of Film and Television Arts. It's kind of like an Oscar.
Yeah.
Thank you. Got to go to London for the ceremony. Didn't win.
Next time. Bluebeard.
Some damn limey got it.
You're probably not getting invited back.
I'm not getting invited back.
That was your sole invitation now.
That was that's it. But I understand what the actors mean when they've been nominated for an Oscar and don't win and say, it was an honor just to be nominated. Because it really was. It really was. It's probably a singular event in my life. The kinds of roles that of Lee Everett don't come along every day. I'll continue to work. I can't imagine having a role as juicy and as good, but maybe I should start imagining it so it'll manifest itself.
Right. Well, you just jot down these ideas again and pass them to this Game of Thrones team.
Yeah. Well, you know, the Game of Thrones, when they do it, I'm very excited. I love the show.
Right.
There's so many characters.
Right. Do you keep up with nicknames like I do? I don't know any of their real names. Somebody last night was like,
names
blah,
of
blah,
the
blah.
actors or names? You know what? I'm horrible watching television or movies and keeping up with the names of the characters. Oh, it's the guy. A lot of times I'm saying the name of the actor.
Sure.
Oh, it's the actor that's playing that guy, or you know, the king, or the bad king, the good king.
Yeah. The guy with the redhead who follows him around.
Except for Khaleesi.
That I remember. That's an easy one.
I love me some Khaleesi.
But that's the whole thing. Somebody was calling her by a different name last night. Turns out that's not her name. Right?
But she is a Targaryen.
Yeah.
And she is the mother of dragons.
Right. All right, well, you know, I tweet that you're going to be on the show. I'm a big fan. A lot of your fans respond back.
Oh, boy, here we go.
They got questions for you. I think Justin D. asked the question that's on everybody's mind. When will you be appearing on the actual AMC Walking Dead show?
Well, you know, thanks to a very good friend of mine who has his own show, I was pitched to Robert Kirkman. And so far, we've heard nothing. But,
what was that friend's name?
Greg something or other.
Oh, Greg. Okay. Well,
now, what if there were some magical Twitter just concentration of requests,
right?
They might actually think, oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand why this Greg guy couldn't get it done because I'm a Greg, and I like to get things done. And as a comic book fan, of course, I watch.
You know what? I'll put it in your hands.
I'll take it from here. If you're watching at home, ladies and gentlemen, there's a show AMC, The Walking Dead. It's great. We love it. Kirkman, all that stuff. In the comic books, there's a character named Ezekiel
who looks like this.
He literally looks this. If you're go back to this shot, the one shot. This is Ezekiel. Like Kirkman clearly ripped Dave Fennoy the fuck off. So what we need to do is start a Twitter campaign, right? If you remember, you watched the show. We've had 2 Twitter campaigns.
Yeah.
One, let's get David Hayter back to be the voice of Snake. Didn't work. 2, let's get Borderlands 2 on Vita. Worked. So now we're going to do the definitive third one. We are putting up the text right now, but if you're watching this at home, this is what you need to tweet. Dear at Robert Kirkman and at WalkingDead_AMC, period. I want at Dave Fennoy as Ezekiel next season, period. Hashtag up at noon. Yes. You made Borderlands happen. The guys in charge of this one speak English, so I think that can happen.
And I'll give you 10%.
You'll give me, oh, well, now you've got to make it happen. Would you like to see these guys cast in porcelain? That's what'll happen if we get to, oh, like how I threw down the questions, like I was immediately done. Like that was all I, no, there's other thing here. Gabrielle tweeted, what would happen if Lee and Rick met? Rick Grimes there.
I think we'd be friends.
Yeah. There's common ground there.
There's common ground there. Rick is trying to save his people. Lee wanted to save his little girl and, find a place of safety. I think they would be, they're like minds. So.
Okay. I like that answer. You did a good job there. Chris says, what sort of research do you do when preparing for a voice, especially a video game? Like Bluebeard, you're coming at it for Wolf Among Us. What, did you go and read all of Fables, or did you?
Well, I looked at Fables. I had not read Fables beforehand. I looked at Fables to find out what was the tone of Fables and what were the characters like. And when the Bluebeard character came along, it was interesting. I got the audition, and it described his character. He was aristocratic. He was a wealthy man, not necessarily a good guy. And they gave some what they called celebrity voice types. And the first one was Dave Fennoy. And I thought, well, if I'm like the prototype for the voice, why don't they just give me the part?
Right.
And of course, I auditioned because I'm an actor, and we never think we're going to be able to work again in life. And I kept thinking, God, if I don't get this, if I can't be Dave Fennoy, what the hell? But it turns out I did get it. So
you do a pretty good Dave Fennoy impression.
I do my best. I do my best.
Not
Comes naturally.
Jacob wants to know who would win in a fight, Lee Everett or Bluebeard?
That's a good question. It depends on if Bluebeard was threatening Clementine. I think Bluebeard could kick Lee Everett's ass, but if Clementine was being threatened by Bluebeard, Lee Everett would just wipe the floor with him.
Yeah, I think so too. Because Lee's he's seen some shit.
Yeah.
Bluebeard, he's this aristocrat. Oh, from the
but
Fables universe.
Have you seen him?
Yeah, I've seen him.
And he's buff. He's an aristocrat, but he's one of those guys that, wrestled and fought and fenced and shot and has killed things and enjoys it.
Lee Everett's killed things too.
Well, Lee Everett didn't enjoy it though. He did it because he had to do it. And if Clementine was threatened, he would have to kill Bluebeard.
You're very intense.
Then he'd have to bash his head in just in case he turned into a zombie.
Right, you don't know where you're coming back from.
You don't know. Are we in a Fables world? Are we in a Walking Dead world?
Final question for you from the fans here, especially about Walking Dead. And this is somewhat of a spoiler, but come on, really? Ethan tweets and said, did the ending of The Walking Dead Season 1 affect you at all? Were you attached to Lee?
I was attached to Lee. I have been asked numerous times who my favorite character to play is, and one of my answers is, well, that's like trying to pick between your children. But a lot of parents do have a favorite child. Lee Everett's a very special character to me for a number of reasons. One, just how well it was written, how much work I was able to do on it, the gifts that it has given me in notoriety. And so for that reason, it's very, very special. And when they told me in episode 3 while I was recording that they were going to kill him off, I was a little miffed.
Yeah.
But being able to play the scene of saying goodbye to Clementine, I think, made all the difference in the world of how the character of Lee Everett was accepted and loved by audiences, gamers everywhere.
I like that you have to make the difference. Audiences versus gamers.
Well, you know what?
It's the same thing now.
It is the same thing now. And quiet as it's kept, gaming is the biggest entertainment business in the world. It's bigger than music. It's bigger than music and movies combined.
Yeah.
It is the new form of entertainment. It's much more cinematic than it used to be. And one of the reasons The Walking Dead is important is because of the storytelling, and it was one of the first games to really bring story to the forefront. And
Right.
you know, now you've got story coming in Borderlands and The Last of Us, and other games are imitating the formula, or trying to imitate the formula of the Walking Dead game and the things that Telltale Games has been doing.
This new Spider-Man game, you can walk around as Peter Parker and talk to Harry Osborn. I'm like,
Yeah,
nah,
yeah.
this looks too much like Walking Dead. Well, Dave, like I said, you're Bluebeard in The Wolf Among Us. It's out right now, or about to be right out. You don't have, this is your character actor. You're not a you're not a method actor. You didn't grow your blue beard.
I thought that might have been some green screen thing.
No,
The special effects? What?
I think you can tell from looking around here that we do not have the budget. Also, a big thank you. You were the voice of Optimus Prime in our April Fool's Day video.
That was just a gas to do.
Yeah.
You know, happy to do it. Thanks for the opportunity, because I've always wanted to play Optimus Prime.
Yeah. Well, now you can just retire on that role and go to Comic-Cons and say that was a joke. No one laughed at. Don't retire. I'm just doing.
No, I'm not retiring anytime
good.
soon.
Well, good. Then we'll see you soon enough. Probably back for Game of Thrones. But if not, more of this here. Wolf Among Us. Dave, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to Trisha Hertzberger, Brian Alcano, Nick Scarpino, Wingstop, Dave Fennoy, and you, my audience. If you want to be in that audience, go to IGN.com/up@noon for details. As always, I will be responding to comments the first hour of this video is live, so come tell us your favorite Dave Fennoy moment. Mine is when he turned the voiceover work around for the IGN April Fool's video in 6 minutes. Fuck, dude, don't work so hard. You do a million things already. We'll be back next Monday at noon with Wonder Woman from Justice League and DC Universe Online. But until then, I'm going back to bed. DaveFennoy.com.